It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Hi everybody, and welcome into our show. Well, the scene you see unfolding behind me is a very disturbing yet all too common one around many parts of the Southwest region. The record drought conditions across many parts of the Southwest have left many boat docks and boat ramps high, dry, and completely unusable. But what if I told you that during these upcoming cooler fall weather months, one of the best ways to catch largemouth bass is around boat docks? We'll explain in the next half hour. And while I'm doing that, we're taking you around the Southwest region for your very latest fishing reports from Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas freshwater, and along the Gulf Coast with your saltwater reports. Also this week on the Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week, I'll show you a good bank fishing location in the state of Texas. We'll show you a big smallmouth on the big catch of the week, and we'll have the Academy Right Stuff show you the equipment you'll need to do this. Now, I've got to credit my tournament fishing buddy Greg Yates of the Dallas-Fort Worth area for sharing the information that I'll pass along to you on this week's episode. Welcome in to Lake Tawakoni. Lake Tawakoni is in north central Texas. It's a good bass lake, but it's real low, about 6 feet low right now, and most of the docks are up on dry ground. We'll get started, show you how this is done, but first, on a beautiful fall day, we take you back to the FSN studios where Julie has your Chevy weekend planner.
The Salooner tables indicate the prime daylight fishing hours for our first fall weekend will begin approximately an hour after daybreak, while evening hours will be best about an hour after sunset. Expect the sun to rise at 7:16 a.m. and set at 7:21 p.m. And we'll have a waning moon 11% visible. Stay with us, we've got fishing updates from around the entire region, and I'll be back with Gary Klein for your Ask the Pro question a little bit later.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors. Buy quality award-winning tracker boats. Fish the finest. Lowrance, maker of the HDS, high-definition systems, and Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day.
All right. Something, little bass. Would you believe that's, yeah, that's a little bass. I thought it was a crappie for a minute. Man, I'll take anything at this point. Welcome back, everybody. Your Southwest Outdoors Report. Uh-oh, don't hook me. Has fishing in the drought conditions right now. And there's just a little bass to get it started. And let me tell you something about the drought conditions. Any piece of cover that's still in the water, I don't care if it's in 6 inches of water, will hold a bass, especially headed into the cooler weather fall time months. Now, as you can see, that dock under there's a lot of scattered brush, some metal poles, and the water's literally not more than about a foot deep under there, and there was at least one little bass under there to get it started. So that's going to be your first key, is you can move shallower here in the fall with the falling water temperatures, and the fish will be a little more active, and that fish, instead of having to catch them on a soft plastic like we have all summer long, you actually hit a shallow running crankbait. So there's one of your keys for the upcoming fall months. Let's start our fishing reports from around the region right now. Let's start it in the rest of Texas. Here's Brian Hughes, your Lone Star Lakes.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Fun & Son Boat Sales. Now, we've had a great break in our Texas weather. Things have really cooled down, and we've had a little bit of rain. Now, that's not been enough rain to bring those lake levels back up. However, it has cooled the water considerably, and many of our East Texas lakes, like Cedar Creek, Palestine, Lake of the Pines, and Cypress Springs, all have dropped water temperatures as much as 20 degrees. That means we have a great bass topwater bite. Use your frogs, use your Zara spooks, poppars, buzzbaits. All of that is working right now in about 4 feet of water on many of the lakes I just mentioned. Also, sand bass are going crazy on top on a couple of our East Texas lakes like Cedar Creek and Lake of the Pines, and Ray Roberts is also seeing great sandy action. And finally, catfishing. Lake Conroe, Lake Livingston, both reporting great catches under the docks in about 5 feet of water for your catfish. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Fun and Sun Boat Sales. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island. Surrounded by pristine bays, estuaries, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico, Port A is truly the fishing capital of Texas. Come fish, golf, and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit the website on the screen. Well, this past weekend and the start of the week, much of Texas and the Texas coast received some much needed rain, and temperatures are now just a little below normal. Plus, fall officially arrives Friday, September 23rd. All of this adds up to some better fishing with even better opportunities ahead. On Sabine Lake, from mid-lake southward, good trout have been hitting a variety of baits, and bird activity continues to increase. Speckled trout in Galveston are starting to make a move up toward shallow shorelines. However, it started with smaller fish in water 3 feet and less, with larger fish still a little deeper. That should change over the coming days. In San Antonio Bay, a very good topwater bite has taken place early. Then the bite continues on soft plastics fished in the middle of the lower portion of the water column. Now further down the middle coast, becks are also moving up in the water column, plus redfish continue to actively school. Big bull redfish are showing up around all the jetties along the coast. The lower Laguna Madre continues to see reds moving south behind South Padre Island, with trout moving up from the intercoastal waterway to the shallow flats. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There's a good one right there, big fish. Well, he's not big, but he's sure big compared to the little ones I've caught so far. There we go, crankbait fish, up shallow. All right, he's hooked real good, so I'm gonna swing him aboard. All right, there we go. There's you a Tawakoni bass right there. Just when you thought that all I was gonna do is catch the little ones, there's a nice largemouth right there. All right, go back. Thanks, bud. All right, look here, same dock. 2 bass out from under the same dock, which tells you that they're just gonna suck in to every little piece of visible cover they can find anywhere. And again, no matter how shallow it is, that's the shallowest bass I've caught in a long time. These fish have been out in deep water all summer. Cooler water, cooler surface temps, drought conditions, they're gonna move shallow. All right, let's, I'm gonna keep fishing this crankbait along here, try to find a couple more boat docks and maybe a few more bushes and stumps sticking up. And coming up in our next segment, we're going to be taking you up to Oklahoma. Check on all your fishing reports from there with Gary Dallahan. We got the hot lake of the week. A lot more coming. Stay with us. Coming back to Lake Tawakoni after this.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day. Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. Costa Del Mar Sunglasses. See what's out there. And by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Got another one right on that dock. Man, they are on these docks. Not a big one, but all right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Your Southwest Outdoors Report rolls into the fall months. Crankbait fishing today. There's your shallow diving crankbait. And there's a little largemouth bass. We're on Lake Tawakoni. Put this fish back right here. And I want to tell you, when you're fishing this shallow, which I mentioned earlier, I'm only fishing in about 1 foot, at the most 1.5 feet of water. This will work on lakes all around the region, by the way. Here's one thing you want to do. When you throw it up there, you want to take your time and real slowly, those first few cranks are just absolutely critical. You just want that bait to gently dive down about 6, 8, 10 inches below the surface and don't drive it into anything, and your best chance to get bit. That one was right on the outside of that brush. All right, a few little keys that make a big difference in catching these bass headed into our drought-ridden fall time months around the southwest region. Let's check in right now up north in Oklahoma with Gary Dollahan, your fishing reports from there.
Check this out. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm actually getting sprinkled on today. Some parts of Oklahoma are getting some showers now. Others are still extremely dry. As we head toward the fall months, we are getting a transition in our waters that is impacting what the bait fish and our game fish are doing. Three things I want you to pay special attention to for catching species right now. One is largemouth bass. I'm getting some good reports from Grand Lake, topwater action, primarily the upper end of the lake, and they're fishing with chug bugs, buzz baits, and three-legged frogs, putting it right on the shoreline. White bass, they're in the extreme upper column of water, and I'm talking really shallow water if you're fishing the Rocky Banks. Your best baits are white rooster tail, 1/4 to 1/8 ounce size, or a crappie jig that has a straight tail. They don't want much action right now, so the Baby Shad by Bobby Garland is a perfect bait for that. A 1/8 ounce jig head is ideal. Catfish across the state, lots of good reports coming in for blues and channels, and primarily along the main river channels. Most of those catfish are coming from 15 to 35 feet, but they're all relating to the channels itself. You can go all the way down to the bottom at that depth or fish along the break lines on the river channel. One thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Recently, I received several email requests to show a couple of good shore fishing locations in the state of Texas. And at the same time, I was looking for a good location that has fared well during this drought. And it's a 2-for-1. I found both. It's Inks Lake, located in central Texas. The lake is only 1 foot low, and it's got lots of good bank fishing access. So let's dial it up right now on the Lowrance HDS-10, and we locate it just west of Burnett, Texas, on State Highway 29. The lake begins immediately below the Buchanan Dam right here. Buchanan is 26 feet low, but Inks is only 1 foot low. Now we switch to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum chart with the satellite photo overlay option engaged. We locate the Inks Dam here on the south end of the lake. The entrance to the state park is here down Park Road 4, which runs the entire length of the east side of the lake. There is shoreline access to bank fishing all along the lake's east side. Plus, as a bonus, fishing inside any state park in Texas is free year-round, so you do not need a fishing license. Species you might catch include largemouth bass, white bass, catfish, crappie, and brim. Plus, if you're really lucky, you might have a chance to catch the Texas state fish, the Guadalupe bass. The lake record on those at Inks Lake is 2.75 pounds. So that's this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. Stay with us. Cajun Phil and Kevin are next up from Louisiana.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability, by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride, Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors, and Mercury Marine.
Here we go, right by that dock. Feels like a good one. Up he comes. Oh. Nope. Man. Oh, it is a good one. Big fish. Taking our time. There it is, hooked right in the mouth. Hopefully he'll fling around there and get one of those other hooks in him. Got him. There we go. There's your Lake Tawakoni bass right there with a big old crankbait hooked right in the top of his little mouth, and I did not have him hooked very well, just right in the little snoot right there. All right, everybody. There is a good bass on Lake Tawakoni, shallow running square bill crankbait. And good way to get it going right here in the middle part of the day. Let's put him back. There he goes. You know, there almost has to be a fish when you're fishing around something that gnarly right there. I had actually thrown out about 8-10 feet out in front of the dock. So there's the next key in fishing this cover and these docks is yes, fish underneath them, fish the pilings and the piers and the visible brush and cover that you can see, but take that crankbait and fan cast in about a 20 or 30 foot diameter all the way around each and every dock, and chances are there are going to be some scattered fish roaming around those outside edges.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with your Louisiana Fishing Report. I tell you what, we got reports this week from bass fishermen everywhere. Let's start with Lafayette, Louisiana, down around the Chaffalay Basin down there. They're catching lots of bass. They're catching them on spinnerbaits and on crankbait. Doing really well. They say early in the morning you can catch some on some topwater plugs, also a few on the buzz baits. Up on Toledo Bend, this little cool weather we had last week, turned on the bass up in the shallow water. Keep in mind, Toledo's still very low, but the bass are tearing it up with Toledo Bend right now, and they're hitting spinnerbait, especially early in the morning and late afternoon. Get out there and give it a try. As far as the saltwater actually goes, I tell you what, it doesn't matter whether you're down in Hopedale, whether you're in Delacroix, whether you're in Shell Beach, whether you're down in Venice or here on Calcasieu Lake, the redfish and the speckled trout action is fantastic right now. Don't know what it is. Normally this time of the year it starts to taper off a little bit. It's hot and heavy right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down at all. Come on down and get yourself.
Got it. One more, just off that dock. Caught under the chin. I hooked that one right under the bottom of the chin. Now don't you do this. All right, well, just one more bass for you. It's been a good day on Lake Tawakoni, and there you go, just a little chunk. Back he goes. You can see right behind me, one more of those good docks that runs way out there, and the very end of it's only in about 3 feet of water or so, but again, that's all real shallow stuff up there. Lots of brush, all those metal piers, everything to hold a bass. You can do this all around the region. Hey, before we head out to this last break right here, I want to remind you about something. Our big online live chat sessions have begun, and every Saturday, right after the Saturday airing of our show at 8:30 until 9 o'clock, you can get online and you can join in the conversation with one of our on-air hosts.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life. By Navionics, enjoy Navionics anytime, anywhere. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week is from Wes in Graham, Texas, who would like to know, is there a key water surface temperature for the fall? For the answer, let's check with professional angler Gary Klein.
Well, I tell you, fall is one of my favorite times of the year to fish. There's a lot of reasons. The main reason is that it's in the fall, so everybody's back at school. No jet skis, no water skis, and you kind of start getting the lake a little bit back to yourself. Temperatures do start cooling down a little bit, and the fish have the tendency to really start to group up. The fall is a time of year that I find my biggest concentrations relating to one spot. So you can catch multiple fish and multiple casts. As far as temperature goes, I don't really have a preference. I mean, it's cooling off and it is what it is, and let's go out there and catch them.
Thanks, Gary. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestouttdoorsreport.com. Click on the Ask the Pro link and send us your information. Now here's Barry with your Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
Congratulations to this week's Big Catch of the Week photo contest winner. He is Randy Sheets of Booker, Oklahoma, and he is showing off a 5-pound smallmouth bass he caught at Foss Lake in Oklahoma on the west side of the state. It's northeast of Elk City, and that 5-pounder at Foss Lake is not far off the lake record at 5.9 pounds. If you'd like to enter the contest, go to our website. On the top right-hand corner of the front page is everything you'll need to register to become a member. It's free. Once you do that, you can send us your big fish photo. And by the way, log on for our live online chat sessions, 8:30 to 9 o'clock every Saturday morning. Time right now for the Academy Right Stuff feature, and I want to show you that the rod, reel, and lure that you need to do this type of fishing is a very limber rod. It's got to have some give in the tip. So I'm using an Abu Garcia Veritas rod, but I'm using only a medium action so that the crankbait has lots of play in it, and when you hook a fish, that rod tip will give a little bit and won't rip those little treble hooks out of the fish's mouth. I'm using an Abu Garcia Revo Premier Reel, and I've got it spooled up with 17-pound test Stren fluorocarbon line. You don't want to go with real light line around all this brush and cover and around all these docks and pilings fishing in this shallow water. And use a shallow running square build crankbait. You don't want a crankbait that runs any deeper than about 4 feet. Well, I hope you learned something about a way, a method, a technique that you can catch some largemouth bass on your home lake this coming fall, headed into these cooler weather months, even in the midst of these severe drought conditions that we're under right now. We'll see you next week. We'll be on at 10:30 on Thursday night, unless the high school football game runs late, and in that event, we'll be on right after the post-game show, and of course, we'll be on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. And you can always watch the latest episode of our show at our website 24/7 in HD. You can watch all the past episodes of our show on our YouTube channel, and you can see the latest content from me and other reporters on our Facebook page at facebook.com. You can link to all of that right from the front page of our website. That's the only thing you need to know. Hey, I hope you learned something today about a method or a technique that you can use on your favorite lake to go out and catch bass right through these upcoming fall weather months, even in spite of the severe drought that we're experiencing around the entire Southwest region. See you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.